welcome. I am so glad that you're here with me today. It's Deb from Bowl Me Over. I appreciate that you've joined me. I'm going to do one of my favorite things today. And if you've perused my blog at all, if you've spent any time on my blog, or you are a member already of the group, you know I have one thing that's near and dear to my heart, and that is soup. And today we're going to make one of my favorite recipes. I make this at least once a month. I always have a quart in the freezer. It's my mom's recipe. We've been making it for years, like probably 40 plus years. And that's her recipe for taco soup. One of the reasons I like it is because it's super simple. Another reason is it's like super forgiving. You can add as many of the ingredients that I list as you want. If you have something else you prefer better, you can easily substitute. I use hominy, but you can use black beans, you can use pinto beans, you can use white beans, you can use just about any type of beans. I like to use fire roasted tomatoes, but you could also use just a can of tomatoes. So let me quickly walk you through the ingredients so you can see what we need for this today. A pound of hamburger. You could use turkey meat or ground chicken or ground turkey, both would be great. As I had mentioned, fire roasted tomatoes. I use 2 cans of those. Green beans, or like I said, pinto beans, black beans, any of those. I'm gonna use hominy. I really like hominy. If you don't, just switch it out with something that you enjoy. A can of pinto beans, did we already say that? Might have. Black olives. Because this is taco soup, we need some taco seasoning. I have a recipe on the blog if you'd prefer to make your own seasoning, that works too. And the recipe calls for 1 medium onion. I was having a conversation with one of my good friends the other day, and she was talking about, thank you for saying 1 cup of onion. And this is a great example. The recipe calls for 1 medium onion, and if you look, yeah, this is about half the size of my head. So 1 cup of onions. I'm gonna correct that on my recipe card, but 1 cup of onions, and that's kind of pretty much it. It's really a dump and go type recipe, so let me get started. Sometimes when I talk, I play with my hair, which makes for not a very clean hand, so let me just quickly wash my hands. So perfect, okay. So what we're gonna do to get started, and I'm gonna bring the camera down in a minute, but first you're gonna hear some noise in the background. I'm gonna start my burner and get it going. And that's just gonna heat up as we speak. And while that's going, I'm gonna do one more thing, which is grab my can opener. What's great about this recipe is, literally, you just dump everything into the pan. We're gonna brown the ground beef first, but I'm gonna do this real quick while we're chatting. On the blog, if you haven't visited before, it's bowl-me-over, bowl-me-over.com. And I have been blogging for about 7 years. And I have a ton of recipes on the blog. And one day I looked and I have like an awful lot of soup recipes. And I do mean an awful lot of soup recipes. So, as I had mentioned, this is like one of my favorites. It's just full of good stuff. And it's super easy to make. And because that's what we're having for dinner tonight, and because it's National Soup Month, I thought this would be a great soup to share with you today. So, like the majority of the time here is spent, as you can see, opening jars. Well, you can't see, but picture if you would. The neat thing about this too, I only have one more to open after this, is that you don't even need to drain any of these jars. It's literally dump everything in. So this can be made on the stovetop, and it'll simmer for about an hour after we cook it or in the slow cooker, but you just need to ground the ground beef first. So let's walk through this really quick. Let me show you how this is done and hang on for the next part. Notice a couple of tips there as we were preparing the soup. It's back there on the stove. I don't know if you can see it back there, but it's bubbling away. It's going to take about an hour before that's done. But there's a couple tips, and I want to make sure I show them to you. It's really easy when you put in like a pound of ground beef or pork or whatever it is into your skillet, into your hot fry pan, for it to just be in one huge chunk. I always use a potato masher, the old-fashioned potato masher, to break that up. It is the easiest way to break up beef that's sauteed in a pot, in a stock pot or Dutch oven. So that's my first tip. And the second one was, did you notice when we were making that pot and we were browning that ground beef, that there were parts stuck to the bottom of the pan? Those are actually really good. That's flavor. In a nutshell, that's like your best flavor in the whole pot. So be sure to take your wooden spoon or your spatula or whatever you use and scrape that off the bottom before you add the liquid. And that's what I was doing there. It releases, you always hear brown food tastes good. That's a great example of it. You want those bits, you want that flavor in your soup, and it's just gonna add that much more. So again, that's cooking on the stove. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so now my soup's done. I'm all excited I get to try this wonderful soup. It cooked for about an hour on the stove. Like I said before, if you don't have time, you could put it in the slow cooker once you brown the ground beef. You could also make it in the Instant Pot, though I haven't done that myself. I prefer to make it on the stovetop or in the slow cooker. About an hour. You could even stick it in the oven at 300 for an hour, and that would be delicious as well. So look how yummy this is. Isn't that terrific? Oh, I love me some soup. That is so good. Oh, the corn kernels just like burst. The hominy gets really tender. You know, like, again, if you don't like hominy, just put black beans in there. Whatever works for you. This is really, really good. And it's so simple too. It's a great weeknight meal. I always, couple more tips real quick. Before I do anything, before I dish up that first meal, I actually will take a quart of it out and put it in a container and allow it to cool completely and then freeze it. Because those days where I don't feel like cooking, or, you know, it's just like a busy, crazy day or whatever, I know I have something good. I can just like defrost it in the microwave, defrost it overnight, whatever works for you, and you have a great meal in the oven. So food for thought there. Again, I do appreciate you joining me today. This is Deb, and with Bowl Me Over, you can check out the blog at bowl-me-over.com. I do specialize in soups and stews, casseroles, quick and easy meals, like super simple stuff that you're not going to spend all day in the kitchen. So I hope you give it a try. I hope you stop by the blog too. Like, follow, subscribe. Appreciate all that good stuff. And thanks so much. I'll see you next time, okay? Have a wonderful day.